most of us think of harassment, the first thing that usually comes to mind is sexual harassment. Few of us realize that harassment can take many other forms, from race to religion, color to disability, nationality to gender, age, and more. Even fewer of us believe that we are personally capable of harassing someone. But the fact is that people who even occasionally stereotype are capable of harassment. If you think you don't stereotype, well, you might just be surprised. I do it, you do it, and they do it. Whether positive or negative words come to mind, each and every one of us stereotypes. And since we bring our entire selves to work every day, we have to be very careful not to bring our prejudices into the workplace. That's where harassment begins. Here's how it's defined by the law.
When you first hear the word harassment, you probably envision what is traditionally known as quid pro quo sexual harassment. That is when an employer bases an employment decision upon a person's willingness or unwillingness to accept sexual advances. But the fact is, that type of situation only makes up a small percentage of harassment claims today. Harassment is not just about sex anymore. The majority of harassment claims are hostile environment claims. Hostile environment harassment is a form of unlawful discrimination that includes all forms of visual, verbal, and physical conduct that shows hostility toward a person on the basis of his or her race, color, national origin, religion, age, sex, disability, or any other legally protected status. Harassment is illegal in the workplace thanks to Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Americans with Disabilities Act, and the Age Discrimination in Employment Act, as well as a host of other state and local laws. In some states, cities, and counties, it's illegal to harass someone on the basis of other characteristics such as sexual orientation or marital status. Harassment can occur among any members of an organization, regardless of their rank in the company, their gender, or their working relationship. Harassment can take many forms. For example, ethnic slurs or racial jokes, inappropriate flirting, unwanted physical contact, intimidation or threats of violence, defacement of personal property, display of graphics that are offensive, cartoons or drawings or pictures, and really any other words or conduct that stigmatize or demean a person on the basis of his or her race, color, religion, and so forth.
What you have to keep in mind is that everybody is in a protected class, and most people are in several. For instance, everybody's family is from somewhere, so we're all covered under the category of national origin. Everybody is either male or female. Everyone is of a certain race, and so on. And in some states, every age is protected, not just people over 40 who are covered under federal law. As you can see, harassment protections extend beyond what we traditionally consider minorities, so the potential for harassment is all around us. Take a look at these next few scenarios.
That smells good.
Hi, Nicole.
Hey, what's up?
Did you guys hear? They're going to have the mailroom open all of our packages and letters now.
You know, I would be a lot more comfortable if Abdul wasn't in charge of the mailroom. For all we know, he could be putting stuff in our mail.
Oh, please.
Oh, Jamie, what do you care? You're an American, aren't you?
First of all, you don't have to be Arabic to be offended by that. Abdul is a great guy. And second, my husband happens to be Arabic, and so are my children. I really resent the constant comments.
I had a wonderful night. More than good. I don't even know what time I came home last night.
Oh,
This goes on every day. I know her way too well.
Back together on Saturday, yeah.
So how are things on the 14th floor?
They're going really well. We're happy with the new setup.
Good. Well, that's great. I'm glad to hear
Hey,
it.
Pops. Say, shouldn't you be thinking about retiring soon? My old man, he's about your age and he can barely lift a fork.
Listen, Sonny, for the 50th time, I've asked you not to call me Pops. I'm not your father. And for your information, I've been doing this type of work since you were in diapers. How do you think I support myself?
What you've just seen are examples of various types of harassment, all of which are inappropriate and would violate any company's zero-tolerance harassment policy. To be illegal, harassment must be severe or pervasive. Pervasive means that the harassment occurs on a regular or ongoing basis. In some cases, it may only take one incident of severe harassment to support a claim. For example, one incident of groping might constitute illegal harassment.
These scenarios also illustrate that you never really know who you're talking to. The most innocent of comments could really offend someone, so why risk it? Even if you know someone really well, you don't always know what will offend them, and what offends them may change on any given day. Regardless of the intent, harassment is in the eye of the recipient. You should also be aware that any comments you make might offend a witness or passerby, even if the comments had nothing to do with them. It's a good idea to err on the side of caution. Another thing to keep in mind is that harassment happens in more contexts than you might think.
So, how do you like this rain?
Oh, Larry, I'm so sick of these gray skies.
I know how you
Hard to
feel.
Hello.
Good
Morning.
morning.
Good morning.
Nicole, Melissa.
Good morning.
Nicole, how do you feel today?
I feel great.
Good. Christina, how do the numbers look this week?
Larry, they're really looking pretty good. We were off to a little bit of a slow start in January, but things are really coming on now, and I think when we roll out that new product, we're going to get a good boost off of that.
Oh, that's good to hear. Now, about the convention. It's going to be in San Francisco in
Wow.
May. Who wants to go?
Oh,
I'd love to go.
Yeah, we talked about this, Larry.
I want to go.
Now, Larry, we talked about this.
I want to go.
Nicole, don't you think you'll be otherwise occupied by then?
Well, I'm not even having my baby for at least another 3 months.
There's no way you're going to be up for a trip by then.
I'll be fine. Really, I'll be fine.
Are you sure you want to get on a plane and be that far away from your doctor?
And think about all the time you're going to have to stand on your feet.
Well, I worked up until my 9th month.
Yeah.
Larry, this is a real information gathering conference. Do we really want to send someone who might not be around to implement all those ideas? Besides, by then you'll have to buy 2 plane tickets.
Let's talk about Nicole. Being pregnant, Nicole belongs to a protected class. Even if her coworkers' comments were well-intended, they could result in Nicole missing out on a career advancement opportunity. Under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act and the Pregnancy Discrimination Act, Nicole could make a claim for sex discrimination for being treated adversely on the basis of her pregnancy.
Melissa, I got you a drink.
Oh, thank you.
You know, you're looking mighty fine tonight.
Thank you.
And your hair. I've always loved your hair.
Have you met my date? I should probably go find him.
I have got to tell you, every day I see you in that radiology lab, and you're acting all professional, and I'm acting all professional. But what I'm really thinking is, I wish I had X-ray vision.
In this situation, it's possible that neither party realized that sexual harassment was taking place. That's because many people mistakenly believe that harassment is limited to the company premises. In fact, harassment can occur at any time, outside of the workplace, outside of regular business hours. Any inappropriate conduct among coworkers at any time may constitute harassment.
Hey Bev, how's it going?
Good morning, Phil.
You ready for the joke of the day?
Do we really have to do this every day?
Yeah, it's a really good one. I just heard it. There's a Polak, an Italian, a German. They're all in a canoe, and then they go down.
In this instance, the delivery man's behavior could be considered harassment. He tells off-color jokes on a daily basis to one of his accounts to whom he makes regular deliveries. This is a good example of how harassment can be perpetuated by customers, clients, vendors, patients, or anyone outside of your organization with whom you conduct business. It's not limited to the employees in your workforce. If you find yourself the victim of this type of harassment, it's important that you report it to your Human Resources Department in the same manner that you would any other type of harassment. And if you catch yourself about to say or do something that might be construed as inappropriate, think twice. What you might consider funny or helpful might not be perceived by others in the same way.
As we've seen, harassment takes many forms. There are many behaviors that, while not considered illegal, can be construed as inappropriate and insensitive and have no place in the work environment. How many offhanded remarks like these have you heard in your workplace?
I'll talk to you later.
Jamie, do you have that report I asked for, like, this morning?
Oh, look, I forgot. It must be my Alzheimer's.
Evelyn's being such a psycho today. It must be that time of the month.
Men, they're all alike. They're pigs.
This report is retarded.
There, I sent it. Would you mind getting it from the printer for me?
What are you, cripple or something?
You know, these numbers don't look kosher to me.
While these comments may sound innocent or even funny, they can be hurtful if heard by sensitive ears. No matter how well you know someone, you never really know their whole story. People have close relatives who are developmentally disabled, suffer from depression, and other mental illnesses. You never know what a person's cultural background or sexual orientation is. A good rule of thumb is, think before you speak, every single time.
We've learned a lot about what harassment is, but what can you do about it? There are 3 key things to remember if you find yourself in an uncomfortable situation that could be harassment. First, let the person know that the behavior is not welcome. By not speaking up, you could be encouraging the behavior to continue. If you're not comfortable confronting the harasser, or if you've done so and the behavior continues, report it to Human Resources or to an upper-level manager that you trust. It's your responsibility to take an active role in stopping harassment. Second, you should know that any information you report to Human Resources will be kept confidential to the extent possible, but Human Resources will need to investigate your claim to take appropriate remedial action. Finally, no one can retaliate against you for making a good faith report of harassment or for participating in a harassment investigation. It's the law.
Thank you for joining us today. Here's to a more comfortable, harassment-free workplace for us all. Thank you for joining us today. Here's to a more comfortable, harassment-free workplace for us all.